Hey guys, I'm back. Now let's not waste any time, I've already taken about 2 months off after all, so... Now, as I'm sure you know from the title, today's video is going to be focused on figuring out who exactly we play as in FNAF 4. So, without any further ado, let's get into this. So, some of you may be confused as to why I'm making this video. Well, isn't it obvious? We clearly play as the growing child, weren't you paying attention? But I have some opinions about that, however, I can see where you're coming from, it is presented to us in that way. But my differing opinions will be explained later, worry not. First though, some context for the rest of the video. So, FNAF 4 takes place in 2 different settings. Number 1, the adventures of the crying child through the minigames, and 2, this mystery bedroom where the actual majority of the nights take place. Now, I say mystery bedroom because it doesn't match the crying child's room when we see it in the minigames, and it doesn't fit anywhere else in the layout of the Afton house, and we never see it in the Afton house. Now, this bedroom and its adjacent corridors contain the nightmares, creatures of teeth and metal that hunt the player throughout the night. In the Tales from the Peter Plague's book, titled Ditophobia, we are told that the nightmares are a mixture of endos on tracks and fear gas, Scarecrow style, and it's also confirmed that William Afton is not just the creator of this setup, but seemingly in control of them, although they are able to run on autopilot if needed. So, now that you've got all the necessary context, let's start trying to figure out who we play as. Suspect 1. The Crying Child. Now I know I just said I didn't think it was the Crying Child, but for the sake of fairness, I'm covering all my bases. Now, I won't pretend there isn't a decent case for him being the child that we play as. From the IV in the flowers reflecting him in the hospital, the bots matching his trauma, Foxy playing Peekaboo, mimicking his brother, and Fredbear being the final boss, mimicking his death. All of that makes a pretty fair case. But there is also a couple of issues. Number 1, the room still doesn't match, which could be explained away by it being some kind of near-death hallucination, but we know both the room and the nightmares are real, so that doesn't really work. Unless we're saying that it's a retcon, and well, I've already seen how you guys react to those, so we'll go with probably not. And number 2, if the nightmares are the gas and the endos, then why would the crying child be seeing them? Sure, William is insane, but psychologically torturing your youngest son while he dies for no reason is a little much, even for him. But what if he had a reason? Suspect 2. Michael Afton. Now, this is the one I personally believe the most. It just makes a lot of sense. After the kinda accidental murder of the crying child, Michael is feeling guilty. And William is definitely not happy. So, what does he do? Punishes his son, in the way that a murderous megalomaniac mad scientist would, by plaguing Michael with horrifying robotic nightmares of the masks that he and his gang used to use to taunt his brother. And as a final boss, well, what's more thematic than the very animatronic he fed his brother to? Now, aside from just being compelling story-wise, there is also a lot of evidence for this. Firstly, when asked by the mysterious writing in the security logbook, "Do you still have dreams?" Michael responds by drawing Fredbear, meaning he has to have seen him at least once. Which, if he wasn't in the room, breathing in the gas, just wouldn't have been possible. Also, considering this mystery writing is either Cassidy or the crying child, there's a non-zero chance that this is another piece of evidence against it being the crying child that we play as. Secondly, Fredbear mimics the sound of a child crying, and Foxy mimics the sound Michael made when jump-scaring his brother, which may suggest there's an aspect of Michael's guilt influencing how the bots act and sound, which would be specific to him. Which would also explain the flowers and the IV drip. He's remembering watching his brother die in the hospital from the injuries that he caused. However, all of these things could also work with it being the crying child with similar logic, so, take that with a grain of salt. Thirdly, as mentioned before, it makes sense that Michael would be experiencing this, unlike with the crying child. There's a reason Mike would be exposed to the gas. It's William punishing him for killing his brother. Now, yes, this entire theory isn't without its flaws too. The room still doesn't match with the minigames. But notice something interesting. We never see Michael's room. We even see Elizabeth's room, and she wasn't a character that had been introduced at the time. Now, why is this, you ask? Because Scott didn't just want to give us the answer, just the clues to find it ourselves. Anyway, with all that aside, Do the stomach mouths and Elizabeth's empty room imply that she'd already been snatched? Just some food for thought, because I'm not 100% sure. Suspect 3. Rory. That kid from Titophobia. Now, I'm mentioning this here because we know for a fact he's been exposed to these experiments, and as such, is technically a candidate for this list. But I think we can debunk this pretty easy with one simple point. He didn't exist at the time. Explain to me, why would Scott make a character completely unrelated to Michael and the Crying Child, the two characters whose stories we were focusing on throughout FNAF 4, and then not mention him at all until 8 years later in a short story? That just doesn't make any sense if that was the intent all along. It would be weird. Also, Fredbear never appears in the book, but both us and Michael see him, so clearly he exists in some kind of form, meaning Rory isn't the only person to have gone through the experiments. Now, I'll admit, I came into this video thinking it was Michael and wanting to prove that to you guys, but I also did want to give the others a chance for the sake of fairness and to avoid bias. Although, clearly I can't fully escape it. But, TLDR, I do think it is most likely that Michael is the character that we play as in FNAF 4. The evidence is strong, it works with the story and the character's specific motivations, William's insanity, love of experiments and complex relationship with his kids, and Michael's guilt, being driven by the regret of what he did to his brother. It also makes the most sense with the information we have now, at least in my opinion. But, as always, if you disagree or think I missed something that would have changed the outcome of this, feel free to, nicely, let me know in the comments. And on that note, let's wrap this up. Your reward for watching, of course. If you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe so I know to make more. Check out my shorts or other videos if they interest you, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye.